JJ, welcome to Breakdown. You ready to talk SEC, Big Ten, football?
You know what? Why don't we talk ACC and Pac-12 volleyball? We haven't done that before. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Let's
SEC and Big Ten football.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
It's Monday, September 29th.
There were a couple of great SEC sorry to interrupt. It is Monday, the 29th, 2025. But I was just so excited. There were so many great SEC and Big Ten football games to talk about.
There were. JJ,
Yeah.
when it comes to SEC, Big Ten, who's the better football conference right now?
So that would depend on how you would go about defining the word better. That's an interesting question because, I think if you went to the AP poll, you'd see one conference having half the teams, half the 25 teams, come from one conference almost. But if you went into the top of the conference, that might be a different situation. So
okay,
what conference do you think is better?
It just means more somewhere. It just means more somewhere.
It just means more.
It just means more. Now, the Big Ten got depth.
The SEC has the depth.
I'm sorry, the Big Ten got top heavy team.
Yeah, they won the last two championships, Michigan, Ohio State, and they have the number 1 and 2 teams in the country 4 or 5 weeks into the season at this point. So,
it's interesting. It took 5 weeks for Penn State to play someone. They played Oregon last week.
And it took them until the fourth quarter for them to realize that they were playing someone. Because those first 3 quarters, it was just not good. But then they finally woke up, and Drew Allard made some plays. He started looking like the quarterback everyone expected him to be. He sent it to overtime, sent it to double overtime. Unfortunately, Penn State did not win that game.
Was that a big game?
It was a big game. Big game James strikes again.
That was going to be my question. If Penn State is in a big game, eventually they're going to win one.
Yeah, I think James Franklin is getting the treatment that Jim Harbaugh was getting before he finally broke through and beat Ohio State that fateful November day.
So you expect same thing for Mr. Franklin?
If I was a Penn State fan, it would be very tough to be able to heed my own advice, but I would just stay the course. I don't think so. It's absolutely possible that you can get a better coach than James Franklin. Bloomington, Indiana might have a better coach than James Franklin, and no one would have thought that 2-3 years ago. But you don't. It's the unknown.
Okay.
Like I don't think that there's a better coach out there. Other than Kurt Sigdetti or something like that will step into that role and excel in that role the way that James Franklin has been doing. I think Penn State, fans have expectations of their program from the 80s, and that doesn't vibe with the realities of the situation. I think Penn State could go the way that Michigan went after they got rid of Lloyd Carr and they were just in the wilderness for a while.
Okay.
They could go the way that Nebraska went when they're still in the wilderness. It feels like it took Tennessee and Michigan a while to get out of that, but I don't know. I don't think Penn State is necessarily. Well, I think their fan base might be a little too big for their britches.
Well, not so much Penn State per se, but just SEC Big Ten. Would you rather be a fan of the SEC or the Big Ten? And let me break that down a bit better.
Big Ten for sure, because when I'm a fan of the SEC, I usually lose.
Well, I was saying, would you rather see games, more competitive games, or where used to be the Little 2 and the Big 8, now it's they doubled it. The Big 2 and the Little 8, now it's like the
Big 4 and the Little
16.
Yeah, something like that.
Or 14.
14, yeah. For now, it'll be 16. Just you wait.
Okay. All right.
It depends on where. It depends on. I think that all that is relative. If you're a fan of Purdue, I think you would prefer a more competitive league. If you're a fan of Ohio State, you might prefer things the way that they are.
Okay.
I do like when things are competitive. That's why I love watching the Big 12 games. I don't know. They're all the same. Like there's no difference between this worst Big 12 team to the best Big 12 team. So that's why I like to see a game. I like to enter a game and not know who's going to win by 3 scores or more.
Before we pretty much talked a little bit about Oregon Penn State game, but I wanted to find out from you: is there anyone in the Big Ten who can beat Ohio State?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Who?
Well, Michigan can, because Ohio State hasn't been able to do that. I mean, that's been a thorn in their forever. No, Oregon beat them last year. Oregon can absolutely beat them this year. I think Oregon has a better quarterback, a much better quarterback actually. I think Penn State can beat them in the right circumstances. I think
Okay. The Big Ten. Some of the lesser-known teams that have elevated themselves this year, specifically Indiana. How good is Indiana? How good would they be if they were playing in the SEC?
That's a really good question. I think they would be about as good as Vanderbilt, which is 5-0 and undefeated and have already hit their over win totals. I think that would be a good analog for them. I think Indiana's pretty good. I think they will probably make it back to the playoff this year. Look at their schedule.
How many teams from each conference will make it to the playoff this year?
4. 4 from the Big Ten, 4 from the SEC.
Ooh, man, I don't think I would go that high.
How many do you think the SEC's going to get?
I don't know. I haven't really analyzed, but there's 12 teams. One has to be one of the lesser conference have to have a team there.
Well, yeah, whoever wins the American will be the representative in the playoff. Because you look at the wins at Memphis, Tulane, South Florida. It doesn't matter who wins it, but the representative. Once Boise lost to South Florida, and then the others AAC wins. They were stacked up. Whoever wins the AAC will make the playoff. Will be the playoff representative.
Judging last year, Oregon was number 1 and Ohio State was number 2. It's kind of like that. Oregon ended the regular season number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Will Ohio State end the regular season number 1 this year? Or will it be Oregon? Who's more likely?
That's a good question. I think a lot of that is contingent upon
schedules.
Yeah, where certain games are played.
Okay.
Oregon and Ohio State wouldn't play each other until the championship game.
Oregon's toughest team is their next game. It's going to be Indiana. And then after that, I'm not sure they got a tough game. I'm not sure they have a tough game.
In that case, I think whoever wins the Big Ten championship game is going to finish the season ranked number 1.
Okay. JJ, let's move on to. Well, we talked about Oregon and Penn State. Let's talk about Alabama and Georgia game.
Yeah, that was another classic.
It was. It lived up to the hype. What's your take on both teams?
My take on both teams is that Georgia has an Alabama problem.
Tell me about that.
The last 8 games, Georgia's 1-7 against Alabama. Now that one is a national championship.
Okay.
So that's a pretty heavy one.
Yeah.
But when you apply context and you realize that Alabama's best weapon, Jamison Williams, had tore his ACL the game prior, and so he wasn't available. John Meachie, receiver, Detroit Lions receiver. He tore his ACL and he wasn't available for that game. John Meachie was also not available for that game, and their third receiver wasn't.
So Georgia lucked out and beat them one time.
I'm not saying that.
If JJ,
I'm just saying
if these two teams should happen to meet again in the SEC championship, we'll keep our eyes open, okay? But no, did the better team win that game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So is Alabama back?
Ask Kirby Smart. They asked Kirby Smart, what's up with the record, and he said, go to other coaches and ask what the record is against Alabama.
That's a good point. But
I think Alabama is back. I think, and a lot of that is the way that their quarterback is playing. He is playing like the best player in the conference.
Who is the best quarterback in the SEC and the Big Ten?
So even though I said Ty Simpson is playing like the best quarterback in the conference, I think his opponent in next week's game is the best quarterback in the conference. I think he's. I was listening to a podcast.
Okay, tell us. You said you just left him hanging. His opponent in next week's game.
Well, you tell me who that is. That's Diego Pavia from Vanderbilt.
Okay. I thought you were gonna say Jalen Green. Taylor Green.
No. That's a second at a time.
So, So you think Pavia is the best in the SEC?
Absolutely. I think he brings a confidence and a moxie and intangible. But when you just look at the statistics and the numbers, I think those also live up to the billing. I was listening to a podcast and they said that he was like a better managed Johnny Manziel because he still likes to go out and likes to party and do all of those things. He's just managed better.
Is he going to be playing at Vanderbilt next year again?
Yeah, he's going to be able to file for retirement. He'll still be playing.
Because he's trying to get an additional year. He already got 1 year extra.
Yeah, he'll have his AARP card. He'll still be throwing touchdown passes for Vandy.
Who's the best quarterback in the Big Ten?
The best quarterback in the Big Ten is in Oregon. He's from Detroit, Michigan. Now, I do think that he's the best quarterback in the Big Ten right now. I think there's another quarterback from Detroit, Michigan, who will one day be better than him. But as we speak today, 2025, September 29th, I'm going to go with Dante Moore.
Dante Moore from Oregon, okay. You leaving out Indiana?
Yeah, no, I mean, Cisco Mendoza, he's a great quarterback. He might be a lottery pick. He might be a top 10, 15 pick in the NFL draft this coming year. He's an upgrade over Curtis Rourke, which I didn't think I would say because Curtis Rourke last year was probably
pretty good.
The best. He had probably had the best quarterbacking year in the history of Indiana.
I would agree.
And they just came in and topped it. So I think he's really good.
Well, JJ, since you mentioned Diego Pavia, they're playing Alabama this week.
They're going for back-to-back.
They're going to Alabama. Man, what happened last year when they played each other in Nashville?
Oh man, what happened last year? Well, just after the Georgia game, Alabama was riding high, and Vanderbilt opened the doors, let them come into their stadiums, and send them packing with a loss.
Yes, they did. Shocked the world.
They did. It was like the first time Vanderbilt beat Alabama in my lifetime for sure. So it's like 84 or something like that.
Did they just catch Alabama on an off day last year?
I think last year there was just a lot of off days because I think Alabama might have had an off day, but then the very next week, Vandy had an off day and they lost to Georgia Southern. Yeah. So, I mean, I think the transfer portal and there was a lot of change. Alabama had a new quarterback, a new coach. Vandy had a new quarterback and a new coach. I think there was just a lot of upheaval and things weren't set in stone at that moment.
Who's going to win that game Saturday when Vandy goes to Birmingham?
Everybody outside of Tuscaloosa city limits Tuscaloosa city limits is going to be rooting for Vandy. I mean, they're the underdog that could. If Vandy beats Alabama, we have to have a serious discussion about their path to the playoff. I mean, they can still potentially depending on how close.
Even if they lose,
depending on how good of a showing it is.
Because their schedule is going to allow. They still got LSU, Missouri, Texas, Auburn, and Tennessee on their schedule.
And two of those teams are pretty good.
Okay. No, Vandy got a shot. They got if they only lose 2 games, they definitely in. Losing 3, they still got a shot.
Well, right now, Ty Simpson has thrown for over 1,100 yards. He's thrown 11 touchdowns. He has no turnovers. Vanderbilt will have to change that. They're going to have to turn him over. They're going to have to make him look like the worst quarterback for them to.
Yeah, you're talking about the quarterback of Alabama.
Yeah, Ty Simpson, yeah.
Right. JJ, can Alabama afford another loss? They've already lost 1 game this year to Florida State.
Yeah, but their name is Alabama, so they could afford 1 more loss. 2, once you get into the 3 losses, that's how many they had last year.
And they didn't make it last year.
They were the first team out looking in last year. So I think if they want to feel nice and comfy, they can only lose 1 more time.
So they can only afford 1 more loss. Okay. I have a feeling they won't get any more losses. So, but what you got winning this game, JJ, and why?
I have a feeling Alabama will definitely have more losses, but not here. I take Alabama to win. It's at home. They got embarrassed last year against Vanderbilt.
Exactly.
Kalen DeBoer has already lost more games as a double-digit or 14-point favorite than Nick Saban did throughout his entire tenure at Alabama. I just think that Alabama has to be locked in right now.
They will be back. They will be laser focused for this game. JJ,
Dad.
Washington at Maryland.
Oh, we're going north.
The Big Ten.
Washington.
How do you like that matchup? One of these teams is undefeated.
One of these teams is undefeated.
That being Maryland.
Yeah, Malik Washington, the quarterback from Maryland, has led them to a undefeated 4-0 record. Saved Mike Laxley's job. He ended the season on the hot seat, but if there's one thing Mike Laxley's going to do is he's going to get great quarterback play out of whoever's under center. Doesn't matter if it's Billy Edwards. Doesn't matter if it's Talia Tagovailoa. Doesn't matter if it's Jalen Hurts. What he does is he's a quarterback whisperer, and he looks like he has a freshman, Malik Washington, that is going to do it again.
Say that again.
What?
Yeah, he has a freshman. We're talking about a true freshman quarterback.
Yeah, Malik Washington. Yeah.
Undefeated right now.
They are undefeated.
Not like that.
Embarrassed Wisconsin.
Not like that freshman quarterback in Ann Arbor.
No, because they Ann Arbor that freshman quarterback in Ann Arbor played somebody.
Okay. JJ.
Yeah.
How you like that game? Washington has one loss this year.
They do have one loss
how you like
to Ohio State. Ohio State.
How do you like this Washington game? Washington is traveling east, going to Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be at Maryland. That travel, man, I hate that travel, but I've been proven wrong a few times because of that travel. But what's your take on this game?
I think it depends on the timing of the game. I think we saw USC make the trip to Champaign, and the first half of the game they were struggled, and it looked like it took them to the second half of the game to wake up and finally feel like they were ready. So I think I'm not entirely sure what time the game is going to be played, but I think it would be to Washington's benefit if it's played later than noon. If it's a noon kickoff, yeah, that's 9 a.m. for Washington, and I think that's a bad way to start. But yeah, you have two great young quarterbacks. You have a true freshman in Malik Washington and a redshirt freshman or true sophomore in Damon Williams for Washington. And they're both dual threat guys they're really fun to watch. I think both fan bases have a lot to look forward to, not just in the future but this year specifically because of who's under center. And on a neutral, I think I would pick Washington. But with it being at Maryland, I think you gotta go with the Terps.
I would go with Maryland myself. JJ, Michigan State going to Nebraska. The one loss Michigan State.
Yeah, they took that loss to USC. They had the issue of going from the Eastern time zone to the Western time zone, and that kicked off at 11 p.m. So that was just a whole other experience for them. But
Nebraska's only lost 3-point loss to Michigan at home.
Luckily for them, they only lost by 3 at home. But yeah, it could have been much worse. But
Michigan State, you just mentioned their only loss to
USC.
Two teams with really good quarterbacks.
Yeah, no, Aiden Childs has been playing a lot better. He's been
Michigan State's quarterback.
Yeah, he's been limiting his turnovers, which he struggled with last year. He's making better decisions. He's still been holding on to the ball a little bit, but but yeah, I think his maturity and his development has been obvious. And he's a true junior, but he's almost a full year younger than the true sophomore over in Nebraska, Dylan Raiola. And he's been dynamic. He's been throwing. I think he's leading the conference in passing yards, and he's lost about 15 pounds since last season to try to be a little bit more elusive, a little bit more. I mean, he'll never be like Lamar Jackson. He's not that type of mobile, but just every pound counts, every second counts.
True.
So I think that's going to be a really good matchup. You have Dane Key for Nebraska versus Nick Marsh from Michigan State. Neither one of them is leading their team in receiving currently. Omari Kelly is actually the leading receiver for Michigan State. I think it's a dynamic offensive matchup. What say you?
I agree. Michigan State has already shocked me. I love the quarterback. The quarterback play, he has matured something crazy in my mind. Got all the tools. They've been coached up. Michigan State, before the season started, I would have said Nebraska would win this game. But today, even on the road, I give it to Michigan State. What say you?
Man, that would be bad for them. They would not like to say to Michigan if after inviting two schools, into their place of football, and then just to take 2 losses. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan State lost, but I do think with a bye,
both teams coming off bye.
Both teams are coming off a bye. Both teams are coming off a loss off of a bye.
That's true.
But with Matt Rule, this is year 3 Matt Rule. There's that whole mystique that he had at Temple, at Baylor. Year 3 was the year they turned around. I do think the personnel, Nebraska just put more money into their personnel this year. I would expect them being at home to win a close game.
JJ, let's go down south.
Okay.
And north, Midwest, everywhere. We're going to talk about coach firing. The SEC has fired a coach. The Big Ten fired a coach early in the year. The most recent firing from an SEC school was dear to my heart, was the Arkansas Razorbacks. Why did they fire Sam Pittman?
Why did they fire Sam Pittman?
Yeah.
They fired Sam Pittman because Washington fumbled the ball against Memphis.
Okay.
No, the loss against
Brown
Memphis.
fumbled the ball against Mississippi.
Okay.
No,
the loss against Memphis, I think, is what dug his grave, and I think the showing against Notre Dame is what caused the trigger to be pulled at this point in the season.
What happened with the Notre Dame game?
Do you want to talk about that?
Did they play?
They got embarrassed.
They didn't play.
They got embarrassed in front of the big money people.
Well, this is what happened.
It was 48-13 at halftime, or 42-13 at halftime.
This is what happened. At the end of the first half, the stadium was empty.
Yeah.
And the AD looking around saying, "Hey, we can't do this, man. We got to have people in this stadium." So they had to do what they had to do. Not only did Sam get fired, T. Wills got fired, JJ.
Yeah, once Sam Pittman got fired, they promoted offensive coordinator Bobby Petrino, former Arkansas head coach, who had a disgraceful departure, but we won't go back into that. But he got promoted back to interim head coach, and with that, he decided to let go of a lot of coaches. One of them being defensive coordinator Terrence Williams.
He let go 3 people.
Yeah, Williams was a up and coming star. Like, people were talking about him as potentially like in line to be like a next head coach prior to the last couple of seasons, but he didn't have the players, and I think other coaches in Arkansas's tenure, like Barry Odom, there was times where he didn't have the players. I think he did a better job adjusting to what the situation that he had than what Williams was able to do at Arkansas. But with that said, with Petrino letting them go, I don't know how many coaches they have, because it's not like,
well, I don't either. But they did say, I heard him in a press conference this morning. I didn't hear the whole press conference, but he talked about that they might have to get some new personnel.
Well, yeah.
But JJ, let me ask you this: should an interim coach have the authority to be firing coordinators right now?
Should an interim coach be the coach that has had the most success at your school as the head coach in the past 30 years and only got the ability to be the offensive coordinator at the behest of they had have a special hearing, panel.
The Board of Regency had to make a special rule for him to come back and be an offensive coordinator.
My point is, this is a very unique situation, and I don't think in other situations this would necessarily have went like this. I think this is a unique situation. I think Bobby Petrino realizes this is an audition. This is his last audition for a Power 4 position, because no other school would ever give him the opportunity to, for what he the thing about Bobby Petrino is every place he leaves them in a bad situation. He did it with the Atlanta Falcons. He did it with Arkansas Razorbacks the first time. He did it with Louisville going to the Atlanta Falcons. He did it with Louisville the second time. So he's run out of all his chances everywhere. The last place he would have a chance is Arkansas, because he was the coach the last time Arkansas was, ranked 3rd in the nation and winning Cotton Bowls and doing these things. He was that coach.
How many games he got to win to get that interim tag taken off his name? They got 7 games left.
They got 7 games left. They've won 2. They've won 2. He'd have to get to bowl eligibility.
So he has to win at least. He got to win 4. He got to go over 500.
He has to win 4 SEC games.
Okay. Is that doable in your mind?
No.
Okay. So before we move on, JJ, I'm going to talk about some other teams in struggling. Who is your top candidate to replace Sam Pittman on a permanent basis?
So the obvious candidate is Rhett Lashley at SMU. He's from Arkansas, played at Arkansas.
Yes, he did.
Took SMU to the playoff last year. SMU had to pay their way into the conference, so while they might have more money than Arkansas in a vacuum, can they afford to get into a bidding war for Lashley? That's the obvious candidate.
Who's your candidate?
I like John Summerall at Tulane.
Okay. All right. So, JJ, what other schools out there, what other teams out there might be losing a coach during this season or at the end of this season? Big Ten and SEC schools I'm talking about. Well, I can name a few.
Well, we know what's going on in Gainesville, Florida. We know what's going on in Auburn, Alabama.
Yes, sir.
We know those two.
There's one more.
What's the other one?
Up north.
Up north. What's that one?
Madison.
Oh, Luke Fickell. Yeah, that one is it's pretty bad.
Who's going to be the next coach to get fired, JJ? What school? Will it be Wisconsin? Will it be Auburn? Will it be Florida?
I don't think it will be Wisconsin.
Okay.
I don't think they will want to do that until they're, no longer bowl eligible and the fans stop showing up. I mean, Barry Alvarez, I think it will wait. When it comes to Auburn or Florida, that's a great question. I don't know. I'm not privy to the contract buyout situations.
Okay.
They've both been inept in very, very different ways. That's a good question. Who do you say?
Let me tell you, the Auburn faithful are getting fed up.
Oh yeah.
Hugh Freeze has played too much golf for their likings. If he doesn't do something amazing, he's lost back-to-back games. To Oklahoma and Texas. And we got to bye this week, and then they come back with Georgia, and then Missouri, then Arkansas. I tell you, I would say Auburn will be the next coach to fire. Florida could have fired their coach last year if they really wanted to.
They could have.
I don't know. But JJ, let me ask you a question.
I think a lot of coaches are going to get answer.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say I think the timing is such that you should anticipate a lot of coaches getting fired now, because the first 4 weeks of the season you don't want to fire your coach because you know what happens if
30-day transfer.
No. You can redshirt.
Oh, right.
So players could leave. This could be a mass exodus. But if you have to stay, if you play 5 games, you burn that year. You might as well stick around and stay and play.
Yeah, rather than leave and not play.
Well, there's a lot of teams that will be playing their 5th game. Have either already played their 5th game last week, or they will be playing their 5th game this week.
Most of them have already played. There are a few. Right, but most of them already played.
But the question is about Wisconsin, Florida, and Auburn. How many games have they played? Because if they've played 4,
Auburn has played 5.
Okay.
Florida has played 4.
So Florida is the team that you want to.
And Wisconsin has played 4.
So Florida and Wisconsin. I would start looking at after this week. I would keep my antenna raised. What's going on in Madison?
Okay, I understand. But I'm going to try to get out of here pretty quickly. I want to ask you: is Les? Dang, I almost said Les Miles.
Brian Kelly?
Yeah, I don't know why. Is his job safe? He's only lost 1 game, and that was by 5 points.
Well, he's won no championships, and he's been there. This is 4th year, 5th year? He's been there as long as the other coaches that have won the championships. I mean, it didn't take Coach O this long. It didn't take Les Miles this long. It didn't take Nick Saban this long. So at this point in time, he's not safe.
Places where the fan base are not enjoying their coach is LSU and Auburn. JJ,
That.
what did I leave out? What did we leave out that we have time to cover?
I think we covered it all.
Should I say it this week, JJ, or should I be too embarrassed?
Win, lose, draw, rain, sleet, or shine. I don't know. I know what I'm saying.
I'm gonna say it. We're gonna get out of here, but on that note, I'm gonna say WPS. Woo pig suey. Bam. What you got?
Who dat?
Okay, we out of here.